Hey guys, it's Lindsay Coward. I am in the Masters of Public Health program, and for the data that I used for the analysis for this midterm exam is from a data set that was a questionnaire given to parents. So I'll go ahead and get started. First of all, for the t-test, I have a null hypothesis that there is no statistically significant difference between individuals self-identifying as male versus female in relation to the number of children that they have under the age of 18. For this data, skewness and kurtosis were a little outside the recommended ranges, even after deleting one outlier data in which an individual reported having 23 children under the age of 18. After completing an F-test for variance, I found that data has unequal variance. And the t-test outcome, the t-stat is less than t-critical. So there's no statistically significant difference between the number of children under the age of 18. I had a p-value of 0.587, which is greater than the alpha level of 0.05. So I accepted my null hypothesis. As far as the effect size, according to Cohen's D, there was no effect size at 0.02561595. For my correlation analysis, I have a null hypothesis that the age of parents is not correlated with the age of children that stays home alone for about an hour. All data fell in normal ranges for skewness and kurtosis. Based on the correlation analysis, it showed a negative correlation. However, that correlation coefficient was very, very small at negative 0.0685621. Based on the correlation analysis, was less than the correlation coefficient from the correlation table of 0.195. So this states that there is no statistical significance at the alpha level of 0.05. Based on R, there is no effect size or importance either. R square states there is a 40.47% that the age of the child unattended at home for about an hour can be explained by the age of the parent. So I accepted my null hypothesis that there is no correlation between age of children that stay at home and the age of their parents. Here is my scatter plot for the relationship between parental age and age of child that stays at home alone for about an hour. As you can see, there is a tiny bit of a negative correlation here. If you look at the line, the linear line there. However, it's pretty varied, and that R squared value is so small. Based on my regression analysis, I hypothesized that having support from family and or friends, parental age, and the number of children under the age of 18 will predict overall life satisfaction. So I deleted all data in which participants stated that they did not know or refused to answer any of those categories of data, as well as one outlier that reported 23 children under the age of 18, as that number skewed the data greatly. Kurtosis for number of children under 18 was still a little high, but I decided to keep the data as is. All the skewness was in the normal range. Based on the regression analysis, p-value for parental age was greater than 0.15, so I tossed out that data and ran the regression again. My regression equation, the y equals b plus m times x plus m times x for all variables. I plugged in my numbers, so I had y equals 1.4084 plus the support from friends and family times that x plus the number of children times that x of 0.0233. Based on R squared, we can predict overall life satisfaction with 3.6% accuracy in relation to the number of children less than 18 years old and the support from family and friends. This isn't a great great prediction. However, it is slightly positive and there is a little bit of accuracy there. So we did reject the prediction because parental age was found to not be a factor in overall life satisfaction. Also, the value found from the regression was very low. There was no effect size across the variables according to Cohen's d. The last analysis that I performed was the ANOVA, and I did a two-way ANOVA comparing men versus women across variables. So my null hypothesis is that there was no statistical difference between individuals reporting as male or female in regards to overall life satisfaction, if they feel rushed about their time, or the number of children that under 18 that they have. In order to get equal samples for the ANOVA across men versus women, I focused on parents with less than 6 children and had to cut out some of the women's data so that the women's sample size would be the same or equal to the male sample size of 847 participants. Skewness and kurtosis fell in normal ranges for both males and females across the variables. And based on the two-way ANOVA, there is statistical difference. My p-value was less than 0.05 and f-stat was greater than f-critical. I decided to do a 2-key HSD for my post-hoc analysis in order to determine where that statistical significance lies. I found that there was no statistical difference between men and women and overall life satisfaction. There was no statistical difference between men and women and the number of children they have under 6 years old. However, there was statistical difference between men and women and their feelings about time, how rushed they feel throughout the day. Based on this data and the ANOVA, I rejected my null hypothesis. And based on Cohen's d, there is a large effect size, 0.905, for feelings of time, but no effect was found for number of children less than 6 years old or overall life satisfaction between the categories of men and women. My conclusions for all analysis are that the null hypothesis was accepted for the t-test and the correlation analysis. So there was no statistical difference between men and women and the number of children they have under 18 years of age. And the age of parent was not correlated with the age of children that stay at home alone for about an hour. There was also no effect size found for the t-test or the correlation. For the regression prediction, I rejected that because parental age, one of the variables I chose, was not a factor in predicting overall life satisfaction. The value was also very low. There was no effect size for the regression analysis. So overall life satisfaction could be predicted by the number of children less than 18 and support from family and friends with a 3.6% accuracy. The null hypothesis was rejected for our two-way ANOVA on the premise that there is statistical difference between men and women with children under 6 years of age and their feelings of time, how rushed they feel. There was also a large effect size for this same variable, the feelings of time. Results overall show that across all types of analysis of the present data, statistical significance was only found in one variable, and that was feelings of time when men and women parents were compared. This suggests that even though there may be no statistical difference between the amount of children they have under 18, their outside support, or their age, individuals that identified as women still feel more rushed by time than those that self-identified as men. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing everyone's projects.